We're in. What's happening, gaming stream friends? How is everybody today? There's nobody in here yet, but soon there will be. I'll get my sphere grid out of the way. I'm going to increase that defense. Carlos and I are going to do a regular stream later today. I'm excited about that. I'm quite excited. We're going to talk about this Jewish MMA fighter who beat up like a Nick Fuentes fan, like a white supremacist guy. That's one of the things that I wanted to talk about. And then we'll talk about something else too. I can't remember. Carlos said, all right, let's pick one serious topic too. And I said, we're going to do a 45-minute video about the song WAP by Nicki Minaj and whoever else is in that song. That's like what Ben Shapiro does. It made him popular. What's up, Ware Pilgrim? How's it going, comrade? Good to see you. Good to see you. You're here just in time for my 45-minute analysis of WAP. Prepare yourself. I don't get why the culture war content is so popular. Why it grabs so many eyeballs. Like, dude, who really wants to listen to Ben Shapiro talk about the Barbie movie for 45 minutes? Who are these people?
Sometimes Yuna would just stare off into the distance.
Like, how hard are people working to astroturf this content?
Why.
Hello from Hawaii. Oh, that's cool.
Saying goodbye.
Aloha. How's it going?
Never see again.
How's everything in the area that you're at? Are you affected by the wildfires? Solidarity with everyone in Hawaii right now. Freaking Biden announced that, and he's bragging about it on Twitter too. Like, one, they're asking people to give money to the Red Cross, who just got caught stealing aid funds, spending it on internal organizational expenses. But two, then Biden announced another $2 billion weapons package for Ukraine and says they're going to give $700 to people who lost their homes and lost everything in Hawaii. $700. Like, that's enough to buy groceries. If you're a family, you can buy groceries like 2-3 times with that.
Leave here at once.
It's just insane, dude. Like, these... Our government is so dysfunctional.
Gagazet is Ronso land, sacred mountain of Yevon. The mountain will not bear the footsteps of infidels.
Infidels.
Enemy of Yevon is enemy of Ronso. Leave, traitors!
I have cast aside Yevon. I follow the temple no more.
No more religion.
Then you will die by those words.
So be it. Yevon has warped the teachings and betrayed us all.
Yes.
Nothing but a bunch of low-down tricksters, eh?
Wow, even Waka's saying that now. He used to be the most religious guy. That's character development.
We have no regrets.
Blasphemers!
Bring it on, you horny guys. Haha. No, wrong button.
If I may, have you not also turned your back on Bavel?
But still, you guard Gagazet as a Ronso, not a Maester. Yuna is much the same.
What's up, Christopher Romero? How's life?
Let Biran rend them asunder.
Gamers and comrades, unite.
No escape, not one.
No, we will not flee.
We will whoop your ass.
Continue on.
You have been branded a traitor, but still you would fight sin. Lost to the temple, hated by the people, yet you continue your pilgrimage? Everything lost. What do you fight for?
I fight for Spira.
She's like Joseph Stalin.
The people long for the calm. I can give it to them.
Fought for the people and had a bunch of crap
That's
thrown
all I
on his
can
name
give.
for it.
Defeating sin, ending pain,
Ending capitalism.
this I can do.
Man, they
Even
got lazy with that guy's
sacrificing
face
yourself.
graphics. This looks like, it looks like N64. He just looks like blurry. Hanging in there, cringing from
Ronzo,
online discourse. LOL.
let them
Yeah, I've had
pass.
to kind of stop
Summon
going on
Yuna.
Twitter just because I'm so
Your
tired of
will
seeing everyone's
is
hot take about
stronger than
Oliver
steel.
Anthony. And
Tempered steel.
like, I just don't want to
even
deal
the
with it. And
mightiest
especially like when you
Ronso
talk to
could
people
not
in
hope
real
to
life about the
bend.
same topics and they're like, what is
Yuna,
wrong with people
We
online?
bow to your will.
You know, you just realize how silly it
Now
is and how
go.
disconnected most online
The
leftists are
sacred
from the
heights of
actual working
Gagazet
class and from the
welcome you.
consciousness of the country. So I've just
No,
been
thank you.
isolating myself from it because I don't want those cringy antisocial online leftists to even influence my thinking. Right? I don't really care
Zanarkand.
about their feedback, so I've just been trying to
Yeah?
ignore it and focus on
As
feedback
if you
from people
believed
who I
it.
like and who I know in real
Maybe I
life and who
do.
I respect.
The one on the other side here is
And I feel like that's
somewhere
going a
out
lot
there.
better.
Somewhere, yeah?
Like, we're getting a lot of hate, Midwestern
Yeah,
marks, but
cheer
we're
up.
also growing a lot this week. So it's important to give yourself a break from the online left and not cave to them, because you know there's a reason when you start to grow in popularity they start attacking you. And it was really interesting to see how
Yuna,
once we
Strike.
landed the interview
I'd
with
say
Oliver
equality is
Anthony,
driven. Don't you
it was
think?
no longer just the leftists who were mad.
That's
It
why
switched
she-
to the right
when
being
weak
mad
people are
because they're
driven,
mad
they
that
can't go
Oliver
far
Anthony would
before they
talk to a
break.
Marxist.
She keeps going.
And it just shows that these terminally online leftists, these ultras, and the right serve the same purpose of protecting capital. You know, the left makes a mockery out of Marxism, right? Makes a mockery out of class struggle while calling themselves Marxists. And then the right points to the ridiculous leftists and says, this is what Marxism is. This is what communism is. And, you know, when anyone like us says, no, communism is just the real movement of history, the struggle of the working class to end the mode of production. It has nothing to do with a lot of the nonsense you see from leftists. You get, you know, attacked by leftists and the right simultaneously. How dare you actually popularize communism? Right? How dare you use populist rhetoric or organizing tactics to popularize communism and help people,
Small voice.
help the masses embrace the ideology more. But meanwhile, Oprah is scooping up land in Maui like crazy. Owns like 2,000 acres. Jeez. Jeez. Yeah, redistribute that land. Land redistribution. I'm safe. Wasn't too affected where I am. Did you see that people still at homes in LA and Hawaii are getting evicted? No way. Dude. Landlords are a freaking scourge on this earth. There's a reason that Adam Smith and even like the people who liked capitalism and free market capitalism said landlords are parasites. Right? Like they'll use a freaking crisis to profit,
Haven't
and
you
they'll kick
bothered
people
us
out of their
enough?
homes when there's literally a natural
Summoner may
disaster.
pass. Guardians may pass. Kimori not pass.
They can't exist without each
Kimori
other, so they need
shame
each other in
Ronso
order to keep the
brothers.
grift going. Yeah.
Kimori forget his birth.
It's like what I always say. I'm like, I'll
Forget his
I'll
people,
explain maybe after
forget
this
his mountain, little Ronso. Weakling
this
Ronso.
cutscene. This is good character development for
Mountain
Kimari.
hate the weak, hate the small.
This is where you actually
If
learn
you
about
will
him in this
climb,
game.
then I must prove my strength. Think you will win?
You think you will
Do not forget who took your horn. Never forget. Kimari never
Just because I don't
beat
have a
Brother
horn doesn't
Biran.
mean I'm not
Never
horny.
win.
That would have been a good comeback there.
I will win.
Why, you...
Beat their ass,
Is this some
Kimari.
kind of Ronso thing?
Kimari problem.
Yeah, but that's what I always say about the Democrats and Republicans. Like, people say Democrats and Republicans are the same, and then, you know, liberals oftentimes say, no, they're not the same. Liberals are much better, but, you know, in actuality, they're not the same. That's true. But one isn't any better than the other. They're two sides of the same coin, right? They play off of each other. If the Republicans weren't as bad as they were, the liberals wouldn't be able to say, vote for us, we're better than the Republicans. Right? They wouldn't be able to make a caricature of leftists and say, look at what the left is. These people are so ridiculous, if liberals didn't actually act so ridiculous. You know, and then if the right wasn't so warmongering and bigoted and awful, the liberals wouldn't have the, you know, supposed moral high ground, the ability to say, vote for us. Look at how ridiculous the Republicans are. Look at Lindsey Graham calling to invade Mexico. I don't know. So they work together. They work in tandem. It's a dialectic, so to speak. That's what people miss, I think, a lot of the time. Oh, that was good damage. Eddie, what's up? Ouroboros snake? Are they talking about horns or something? Yeah, these are Kimari's like childhood bullies, and they stole his horn, which is like a big deal for the Ronso people. Their horn is like their pride. So now he's fighting them again. As an adult. Kimari's actually a good character. He doesn't talk much in the early game, and you think he's kind of an ass. But then he has this cool character development moment here. And he opens up more as the game goes on. Whoever, like the original creator of Final Fantasy, like Square Enix was going to go under. No, it was Squaresoft at the time. They were going to go under as a company. They weren't successful. And then before, they were making like action games and like, you know, side scrollers and platform games and stuff, shooting games. And the creator said, I don't think I'm that good at making an action game, but I think I am good at telling a story. And then he created Final Fantasy 1, which was like, unlike, you know, any game at the time, it had a long story, which, you know, today seems like nothing because it was an NES game. But for the time, it, you know, was way more story based than any of the other games that were coming about. So Final Fantasy is really like, the gameplay is fun. You know, in some games it's more fun than others. I like the turn-based, you know, style of gameplay. Even though the more modern games are going away from that, but it's more so based on the story, and all the stories are like, there's politics in them, and they're pretty deep for video games. So that's why I really, really like this series. I also, Kingdom Hearts was like one of the first games I ever played as a kid with my cousins, who introduced me to video games. So I kept seeing these Final Fantasy characters in Kingdom Hearts, which, if you don't know, is a mix between Disney and Final Fantasy. I was like, who are all these cool characters? I want to play their games. Oh, here we are. Do you ever play 7? Yeah, I've beaten 7 twice, actually, which, you know, I'm a nerd. I'm going to do that at some point for the gaming stream. I kind of want to do Final Fantasy 7 Remake also. Or, you know, rather than the older game. But the old game, you can play it on mobile now, which is cool. But you can also, like, speed it up really fast and kind of zoom through it, which is fun. And I'm pretty sure the stupid modern gaming company that is Square Enix and all modern gaming companies, I'm pretty sure they split Final Fantasy VII into episodes. So you have to buy each episode, and they're kind of ridiculously priced. It's like, come on, bro. But I hear it's awesome. Dude, bro, do it, bro. The remake is fire. Nice, yes. I hear 16 has an awesome story. I never played that. 12 has a great story. When you're going to analyze the story of 15, its development, I still have to go back and finish 10. Nice. I've played 15 too, at least the Pocket Edition.
Wrong is Kimari.
That would be a fun one to analyze. I think I want to do 12 next, because 12 is like the most politically driven story. Like, I would describe it as a political drama. Whole thing is political start to finish. So
Mount Gagazet.
they remade Crisis Core. Oh, I didn't know that.
honor the name of strong warrior.
They're worth it.
Who
Okay.
defeats Biran. Remember always, Gagazet. That name is Kimari.
Kimari. Man, we're turning all the people against the temple.
Strong.
We're organizing a revolution right now, folks. Joseph Stalin at it again.
Summoner, we Ronso will stop pursuers from temple.
Truly?
Penance for breaking Kimari's horn long ago. We crush enemies following behind. Kimari crushed enemies standing before. You are most fortunate, Summoner.
I thank you.
Ronso will shine your statue.
I like
bright.
these guys. These guys remind me of like wrestlers. Once
Thank
Kimari beat them up, they're like, all right,
But
you're
I
cool.
fear that no one will
You're
make
tough.
a statue
We
for
like
a
you.
traitor such as I am.
Then Ronso will make. With grand horn on head.
That would be wonderful.
Woo! I will say that even some Marxists online focus too much on attacking rather than explaining alternate avenues for people who are hesitant and trust communism.
I
Oh,
wanted to
dude,
see Yuna
like
statue
half
too,
of them.
But I wanted to see it.
Yeah, it's definitely not just like,
With Yuna by my
you know,
side.
when I say radlib, I'm not talking necessarily even about people who consider themselves liberals, like I am. But I'm also talking about a lot of Marxists who just think Marxism is when you like take liberalism and then you threaten to like kill anybody who doesn't agree with liberal social values. Or you say that anyone who doesn't agree with liberal social values, you know, should be canceled and condemned. It's like, that's not Marxism. Marxism is a critique of liberalism. Right? Marxism is based on class analysis. It's not based on like liberal social values and like pushing those on the working class or canceling them if they don't embrace them. Right? Marxism is about class struggle. It's a different worldview, as Carlos likes to say. And a lot of these Marxists don't understand that because they don't read anything other than tweets. You know, which we're all at different levels of development, but there are people who, you know, the only theory they've engaged with is Hassan Piker. It's like, that's fine. But he's like mostly talks about social views. He mostly talks about culture war stuff. You know, he's not teaching Marxist theory on his streams on a daily basis. So you have all these people who I feel like they call themselves Marxists because they enjoy the social group. They enjoy the social aspect of it, ganging up with people online and canceling others. And it makes a mockery out of Marxism. It makes a mockery out of what a socialist is supposed to be. Yeah. And it prevents socialism from being popular. They're gatekeepers. I hear 12 is good, but the protagonist was supposed to be another character. Yeah, 12 is good, but it is a flawed game. It's like Vaughn, who's the main character, kind of. He starts out as the main character, and then all of a sudden, like as the game goes on, he's just like in it less and less and less and less. And it's kind of like, what the hell happened to Vaughn? Like, he's just along for the ride at this point. But they also could have done more with the character of Bosch. But the characters in that game are so good. They're all really well fleshed out and developed, and I also prefer the gameplay to almost any other game. But are those technically ligers? Yes, they're all ligers, lion tiger hybrids. Yes, I'm glad the singer clarified his positions on the lyrics. Yeah, for sure. And I don't know how our interview with him is going to go, but I guarantee you he, clears up a lot of misconceptions that Marxists and leftists have been throwing at his song. And like, yeah, we obviously don't think that people on welfare are your exploiters. They're not your oppressors. The welfare line was a little bit goofy unless you're aiming at, unless you're making a systemic critique of the welfare system and the way that capitalism pushes people into conditions where they need to rely on welfare and where they have crappy processed food, which is what he said when he clarified the lyrics. But that's not the point. The point is that 95% of the song was about class struggle, which is why it's so popular, and like, Marxists just immediately canceling this guy instead of doing what we're doing, you know, saying what we liked about the song and what we didn't like, and then reaching out to him and talking to him about the song, talking to him about his actual positions on welfare, trying to push him closer to our position, maybe. Instead of doing that, Marxists just cancel a guy who's 5% wrong and 95% right. You know, it's like, how are we ever going to get anywhere in this country if we cancel people who are 5% wrong and 95% right? So I'm just over it at this point. Like, instead of solely criticizing, for example, how same-sex relationships are portrayed in bourgeois media, focus on providing an alternative possibility for them as just relationships. Attacking the superstructure while providing an alternative route for people to contemplate, which would include class analysis in the social arguments. All right, people. That's what the culture war is. It's just it's hyper focused on the superstructure and on superstructural battles. And some of the people, I've even said this about Kyle Kalinske, they don't focus on class and economics enough. So they just talk about politics. Politics is part of the superstructure too, right? And that's fine. You know, we need political analysts and political scientists, but if you don't understand the base, if you don't understand the structure of the economy and how the economic ruling class controls the political class, then you're just going to be
this time?
following politics like it's a high school drama or something. You're not going to see the motivations behind a lot of these politicians. You know, then of course they focus on culture war stuff, which is also a part of the superstructure. There's a lot of not so much anymore, but there used to be a lot of just blind critique of religion without talking about how organized religion, so to speak, and religious institutions reinforce the economic base. Like, Marxism is about understanding that economic base and, you know, the relationship it has to the superstructure, sure, but if you just make all your analysis of the superstructure, that's not Marxism, dude. That's that you're just going to become a rad lib. Absolutely, we knew that, but with the gaslighting Twitter Marxists, it was good to have clarity, for sure. Couldn't have said it better myself, comrade. You get a ding for that. Twitter Marxists and their takes scare me, but it makes sense since they're all hyper-paranoid, non-dialectical, or theory-based. And I think they're astroturfed. Like, there's some, you know, not to complain, like, I don't care if people ratio us on Twitter or whatever, but there are some responses to us by people with like 200 followers that would all of a sudden blow up with all these random accounts that have been created in the last week or two, you know, liking them. So a lot of this discourse is definitely being astroturfed and boosted by nefarious forces, you know, and that's what I always say. Like, the CIA doesn't necessarily need to have feds, or I mean, sorry, they don't need to have plants. Like, I don't think Vaush is on CIA payroll, but I would be very surprised if the CIA wasn't boosting his content with some kind of bot, right? So they're not necessarily creating the creator, manipulating Vaush himself, but they are through boosting his content, setting the stage for the puppets to emerge. By making it possible to get rich and famous and prosperous by being Vaush, playing video games and being pro-NATO. You know, that's what he does, and I'd be willing to bet almost anything the CIA, or maybe not the CIA, but the NED or various NGOs boost that kind of content for him, whether directly or covertly. I mean, there might be a direct connection because Vaush did get caught during the Jackson-Hinkle debate. Like, someone was sending him debate answers through the chat who was like directly connected to the National Endowment for Democracy, the CIA cutout. I should have used thunder there. That was stupid. But yeah, he doesn't necessarily need to be a Fed to be Fed boosted. And that's the same with like Adorno and Horkheimer and all the freaking pseudo-Marxist Frankfurt School thinkers. Like, a lot of them weren't on CIA payroll, but all the journals that they were publishing in were funded by the CIA, backed by the CIA. So it's like they don't need to fund these people directly. They're funding them indirectly by creating these journals that will accept pro-NATO, pro-imperialist content that calls itself Marxist and distorts Marxism. And they'll make it so you can become an intellectual superstar and you can become rich and famous by peddling that kind of nonsense. So, I mean, and Gabriel Rockhill has talked about this better than anybody. Like, to understand philosophy today and you know, the state of Western Marxism today, there's nobody more important to read than Rockhill and my good buddy Carlos Garrido. Obviously, I'm biased, but the Purity Fetish is truly something special. It really is. So, yes, it's a fundamental misunderstanding of infiltration of the left and the application of bots. Absolutely, absolutely. And in the modern era, in the social media era, in the era where you have outlets like Midwestern Marx growing in popularity, you better believe the CIA and stuff are using, or the ruling class is using bots and, you know, any techniques that they have to manipulate social media. That was stupid. Because why would they not, right? Why would they not? And we've discussed doing the same thing, but I'm against it because I know that that's against the terms of service to use bots, and we don't want to give them any reason to shut us down. You know, so it's hard to combat the botting. You know, you can't really fight fire with fire, I guess is what I'm saying in this situation. At least I don't think it's worth the risk. If you guys want to bot our content, fucking go for it. Just kidding. I didn't say that. Allegedly, in a video game. Yes, exactly. It's a lot of perceptive nonsense that either non-reality or whatever I truly fear is a massive misunderstanding. But I think you feel as I do. It's a lot of bots or whatever. AstroTurf and yeah, dude. Because when I talk to people in real life, they don't think this way. Right. I mean, there are some people I know in real life, like Dust James or my friend Sam, who have taken not the same position as us on the Oliver Anthony song and have dismissed it completely. And, you know, those are the only people I can think of who I actually, and I've never met Dust in real life. I just know, like, we're friends on Facebook. And I consider us friends. But other than that, you know, all the quote unquote normal people I know, all the people who aren't, entrenched in online discourse were like, hell yeah, bro, congratulations on landing the Oliver Anthony interview. That guy's song is awesome. Right? So it's like, I doubt that there are thousands and thousands of people or people who consider themselves socialists and believe in class struggle, you know, who really just hate this Oliver Anthony guy and hate us for talking to him. Because if you're a socialist, why would you hate that a Marxist outlet is talking to one of the most popular artists in America right now, bro? Like how self-destructive can you be? It just doesn't make sense. So, you know, and like even if you are way more critical of the song than we were, even if you don't think it was a good song, you didn't like it aesthetically, you know, the welfare line pissed you off, still, wouldn't you want us to talk to that guy? He got 27 million views on the song. Right? Why would we not talk to him and try and win him to Marxism? If you believe in Marxism, if you believe that we actually have the truth on our side, why would you not try and convince a factory worker who has tons of sway, tons of influence with other factory workers? Like, sometimes it's so absurd I can't even wrap my damn head around it. And then I come to like then I come to that position where I'm like, this could only be possible with like astroturfing. Like, normal people, there's no way normal people think this way. Who should we bring in? How do I switch? Can I not switch right now? Can I switch characters? I forget how to do that? Oh well. I'm just gonna use my... The CIA just made an opposition by socially conditioning them to do the work. Impressive and diabolical. It is. It truly is, right? That's what I'm kind of getting at. Same thing I'm getting at with, like, the CIA doesn't need to pay a bunch of agents, right? They've socially conditioned a lot of leftists to do their work for them. You know, and bots and other techniques can help with that. What's this? That's like a chess piece.
Graves of summoners and guardians who failed.
Oh. And a dead summoner. All right, dark. It is an amazing interview. Thank you. Congrats on that. You have been such an inspiration for my learning Marxism and part of my foundation. After Noah's class, I plan to read State and Rev. Let's go. All right. 1 second. I don't know where my copy is. Maybe I gave it away. I'm always giving books away and then forgetting. But I have a full reading guide and summary of State and Rev that breaks down the whole book. It was made for people. It's made for people who are reading the book to help them, but made for beginners, right? It's like walking you through. And if there's anything you didn't understand about the book, hopefully it's explained in my guide, because I spend like, at least 20 minutes on each chapter. And I made it with the idea in mind that some people won't read the book at all, so they can watch my videos and get a summary, right? I prefer you read the book, go directly to the source, reading good. But, I understand that people are busy, people are working, so I wanted to make it so they could get the essence of what Lenin is saying, get an idea of what the content of that book is without, even if they don't have the time to read the book. So it's a very thorough guide, if I do say so myself, not to toot my own horn, but I spent tons and tons of time on it, even researching, like, there's one part where Lenin is talking about different forms of the state, and he's talking about like parliamentarism, and I was like researching like how British Parliament is organized in comparison to the US, so I could understand it and explain it for the guide. I just put a lot of work into it, so yeah, hope you like. Definitely recommend that if you're reading State and Rev. Online Marxists can learn a thing or two from marketing. Any publicly good is yes. Absolutely, dude. I took a marketing class in college, and not to say good or any publicity is good publicity, but in a way it is, right? And if you're always caving to the online left when they get mad at you, you're going to be shooting yourself in the foot when it comes to blowing up and when it comes to reaching a wider audience, getting out of the leftist echo chamber and getting these ideas to new people. Sublating the audience is what Carlos and I call it. Because you're maybe getting rid of some of the leftist elements of your audience, but you're, in doing so, you kind of break through and reach more normal people, quote unquote, normal people who are having leftist ideas of class struggle gate kept from them by the antisocial, crazy leftists, for lack of a better word, the rad libs. So, yeah, and that's why I keep saying, dude, Marxists need to start thinking strategically with their brains and not just morally with their feelings. Like, there's a place for morals, right? Your morals can motivate you. You can look at the evils of the capitalist system and the people dying and, starving and dying due to lack of health care and drowning in debt. You can get angry at that and have that motivate you to fight against the system, right? Morals matter, but you can't look at everything so moralistically that you hear a song that's 95% about class, a song written by a factory worker that's 95% about class struggle and 5% about, welfare or criticizing individuals on welfare, and just dismiss it completely when it's getting 27 million views, right? Like, we need to have a more strategic approach to that than just fuck this guy, this guy's right wing, and allow the right wing to claim him and piggyback off all the popularity of his song. Right? We need to think more strategically than that. I don't care if the welfare line made you mad. Like, I get it. Your feelings are valid. But we can still, work with this man or use this man or understand why so many working people are connecting with this man. And make a more sober analysis than just, this made me mad, I hate it. And anybody who likes it then is therefore bad, and I hate them too. Like, come on, guys. Stop being children. I'm sorry. I know, Christopher Romero, you said you're done with online discourse, and I've just been talking about like the most online thing, like the center of online discourse the past few days. But something's happening now with Midwestern Marx that used to happen when I still had the TikTok with 400,000 followers almost. Where, like, if I would talk about something or if I would put out a take that's even a little bit controversial on TikTok, then that would be the discourse that other creators, other leftists and socialists would be talking about for like a week, right? They would, because one person makes a video giving their opinion, then someone wants to comment on that, and then they go back and forth and blah, blah, blah. And we would always like not dominate the discourse, but, you know, we would heavily influence it. And now I see that happening with our YouTube and with our Twitter. Like, if we put out a controversial opinion, Twitter's going to be talking about it for a week. This is kind of another level. Now we have like the Majority Report quote tweeting us and stuff, but that's good. You know, it's good to it's good that we're even on the Majority Report's radar.
I wonder how old you are now that you're watching this sphere.
Because as communism gains popularity, we're going to have to make ourselves, distinguish ourselves from the Sam Cedars of the world.
Oh, by the way, Jekt and Oren send their regards. So far, our journey has been very entertaining. Of course, it is a hard journey, but I have no regrets. It is the path.
All right, enough, Braska.
Yuna, when you have grown, you will have to find your own path. Do what you must do the way you want to do it. Doors will always open themselves to those who do. Listen close, Yuna. Your future is yours to make. Live the way you want to. Whatever
do
way
what
that
you
may
want to
be,
do.
You have your father's full support.
Thanks, Father. Now I'm going to take down the entire temple of Yevon.
Always be with you.
Got to make that presence known. Absolutely. Do they even care to grow? I wonder if it's psychological. A lot of the infiltration. What are the bounds of Cointel Pro? I don't know. I need to read up on that for sure. Same. All right. And a lot of it is psychological. Like, I think a lot of leftists are just conditioned to gatekeep that way, right? Like we've been saying, they're not like CIA agents, but they're serving the same purpose. They're doing the work of the CIA for them. And there's various ways, you know, that the ruling class has gone about, you know, sort of brainwashing people in this way and getting people to act this way. But I always go back to this one girl who called herself a Marxist and ended up like sharing some DMs that I sent her in private on Twitter and saying that I should be canceled for it because I asked her to treat me like a human because she kept calling me cis het. And saying how I couldn't have certain opinions because I'm a cis-het white man. Like, can you just talk to me like a person? And she was like, that screenshot it, shared it on Twitter. Look, Eddie doesn't even acknowledge his privilege, blah, 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 blah. But anyways, that girl was pretty big on TikTok. And she made a video once saying, like, you know, white men shouldn't be recruiting people to Marxism, right? White men shouldn't be bringing people into our spaces was the word she used. Meaning like her, and I know this girl like spent a lot of time online, and like online leftism was her social group, and she was kind of like the top dog among all these young kids, these TikTok leftists and socialists. You know, they all like looked up to her and like basically worshiped her. But she made a video once, saying like we shouldn't recruit people to the left because, you know, you don't know how people in these spaces are going to feel about that, and you know, cis-het white men are just so bad. They'll ruin these spaces for us and they'll make people uncomfortable. And I'm like, wait, so this whole time I had always assumed the goal was to grow the left. The goal was to recruit workers to the left, to bring people into leftist ideology, to teach them, to help them develop. And now I'm hearing that some leftists don't even view that as a goal. They view the left growing as a bad thing because they'll lose, because it might mess up their social space, their social status, right? It might mess up this online leftist community where everybody's supposed to think and feel the exact same way about every issue. And that was a big light bulb for me. I'm like, oh, some of these people literally don't want to grow the left, right? Their social status is embedded in being a leftist, and that's the only reason they are a leftist. And they're literally fighting against the left growing because they think it would ruin their, like I said, their social status and their social or their position within that social hierarchy, which is all, you know, basically online or mediated through the internet. So that was a big light bulb moment for me. Like, oh, some people are literally not only are they not trying to grow the left, but they're actively against growing the left. And they'll say it out loud, whether they're conscious of how ridiculous it sounds or not. you know, and then they get all these pats on the back from online leftists for their virtue signaling. We're like, yes, speak on it, Queen. No white workers will be part of Marxism in the future, even though 70% of the country or whatever is white. Like,
Aren't
what?
sent to the far plane.
Why not?
That dragon thing is really moving to the beat, LOL. What's up, Where Pilgrim? I didn't know you were still here. Definitely.
Many have become fiends, and they may want Yuna's company.
He be moving to the beat.
Yuna will be fine.
Tumblr did a number on their psyches. I wonder if Tumblr's emphasis on aesthetics over substance influenced their mentality. To be fair, mainstream culture doesn't help either, for sure. But it absolutely was. Angela Nagel got canceled for this book. But if people read Angela Nagel's Kill All Normies, which talks about the kind of culture that existed on Tumblr, and ironically, she got canceled for writing about it, but she talks about the extreme left, like these leftist, you know, people who have extremely radical social positions, like fringe views, and talks about Gamergate and stuff. But yeah, and that kind of stuff used to be isolated to Tumblr. I remember, like, growing up, Tumblr was always kind of a joke. You knew that's where, like, the quote-unquote social justice warriors hung out. The extreme leftists, and not necessarily left on economic policy, but social views pretty much exclusively. And, you know, I think in many ways that became TikTok. You know, that's now become TikTok. You know, and a lot of those people grew up, obviously, and some of them, I'm sure, grew out of those views. But yeah, a lot of the people who consider themselves the left, or who even consider themselves Marxists, like, grew up on Tumblr, and that definitely affected them and taught them that, you know, there can be no tolerance for people with other views on social politics, right? If they don't accept, like, that all white people are settlers and they're all inherently just super racist, and we can never get along because racial divides are too deep, you know, which is a deeply reactionary and, like, racist way of viewing the world inherently. But there are a lot of people who are like that, and that's what they think leftism is. That's what they think Marxism is. That's what they think socialism is. And then the right tells the working class, yes, this is actually what socialism is. It's when you're a Tumblr social justice warrior. And then it's our job to explain what Marxism actually is. But at least, thank God, we have theory. Without revolutionary theory, I don't know what the heck we would do. Because people who have read theory can see through the BS. And people who have actually gotten heavily involved with organizing on the ground and have gotten involved with labor organizing and stuff like that, because that helps you cut through the BS as well. Like, real easy. Not real easy, I should say, but easier than you think. Because then you talk to people at a picket line and you see, like, they don't have, you know, a lot of people on the picket line, like, voted for Trump, but they're not, like, fascists who are like, yes, I love Trump because of the wall. We need the wall, and I hate everyone who's different from me. It's mostly people, at least in the Midwest, or at least among the John Deere workers I talked to on the picket, who are like, yeah, you know, Bill Clinton outsourced a bunch of our jobs, and Hillary was saying that she was going to do the same thing, and obviously Hillary's super corrupt and destroyed Libya and did all these bad things. A lot of them didn't bring up Libya, actually, but I wish. But, you know, so I decided to take a chance on Trump, right? I figured he was the lesser of two evils. Like, oh, yeah, this person isn't a fascist. You know, this isn't someone I should be polarized from, or I should avoid talking to because they have different political views than me. Because, again, that's isolating the superstructure. That's only looking at their political views, when what's most important is their position in the economy, their relationship to the means of production, their class status as workers, which allows them to struggle collectively against the capitalists. The whole point of Marxism. My mother is from Trinidad, my father from Michigan. All comrades of color, each according to their ability, is a piece in the revolution to build it. They don't think like that, though. They don't think like the online leftists, or... I criticize... Yeah, a lot of the online leftists who think like this and act like this are white. like the vast majority of them are like white college students or upper middle class college students. I criticize the wording of a lot of conservative Marxists too. They have good critiques, but their own bias in front of objective class analysis. Yeah, it just turns into a lot of the time, this is my critique of them, it turns into a lot of the time just them doing culture war stuff, right? Unless you're tying everything back to the base, the economic base, it's the same problem that the quote-unquote woke radlibs have. And this is what Hans-Georg Muller talks about in his analysis that every single person on the planet should watch, which is on YouTube. He's also written about it, but it's on YouTube, called Wokeism. And then his video about Jordan Peterson called The Mirror of Wokeism, where he says that Jordan Peterson is just a mirror of the woke leftist that he criticizes, right? All he does is talk about the culture war stuff. All he does is distract people, says, you know, you can't talk about the economic base. You can't talk about the system. You can't criticize the system. You're too lazy and selfish, and you just have to clean your room. And he serves the same purpose of distracting people from class struggle that the woke leftists he criticizes do. So he's a mirror of wokeism. And everyone should read Hans-Georg Muller's analysis of that. It's so good. And everyone should also read watch his videos on that, and everyone should also watch his videos on prophilicity, which also explains the way that a lot of the online radlibs act, because we live in a world where everybody's sense of self or sense of identity is tied to their online profiles. So people see online virtue signaling and canceling of people as a way to build up their profiles and get social clout. Right? And that's very important. It goes back to exactly what we were saying about the bots, right? In a world where everybody's trying to build their profile, if all the CIA has to do is bot the kind of discourse that they like, and that's going to encourage people to keep engaging in that kind of discourse, keep pushing those same positions, because it gets them social clout. It gets them a dopamine serotonin hit when they get likes online. He doesn't regret it, though. It's prophilicity.
Before they took him.
Don't clean your room, bucko. My room's clean, baby.
Why would your brother do this for us?
I need to organize a bit more.
Well, hey, this isn't the time for talking. There's dealing to be done.
I have no idea what this guy's talking about. It's another Owaka? Cool. Holy cow, why are these expensive? Oh wow, you can attach a lot of abilities to these. Probably buy one of these, but I don't know. I don't really care. We're crushing everyone anyways. We're already the goat.
Sure he's doing the same.
Thanks.
Oh, praise be to Yevon. I hope I'm going the right way. Can you open the map in this game? Let's use her overdrive just for fun. Just for fun, let's just blow these guys up. Bomb and sure. Kind of thought that would do more. Oh well. Ow. Hopefully this works. Oh, it worked on all of them. Let's go. Atta boy, Kimari. Who even knew he had that in him? Gosh, I gotta get Orin out of here. He's getting too overpowered. His strength has increased again. He's already doing so much damage. Spread the experience, spread the love, because I believe Orin in the late game is actually like your worst character. Because he's really, really good at the start, but he doesn't scale as well as like Titus, aka Stalin. If I remember correctly. Where are my abilities? Even get down here. Ouch. Why did they get to go first? They killed my boy. They killed my girl. I have to use a Mega Phoenix down. I didn't want to do that. Oh well. It'll be alright. They killed her again. See, this is why I like to keep Orin in, though. Then I don't die. Oh gosh, bought the grandma dream. Haha. Not the grandma dream. Yeah, shout out to Jacob for that one. Our Twitch moderator, Jacob, dug up a video of Jordan Peterson talking about a dream where he slept with not slept with his grandma, but saw his grandma doing something sexual. And it's in the audiobook. He's like, talking about this. I'm Jordan Peterson, and I saw my grandma stroking herself. And you're like, what the hell? This guy, you can see that Jordan Peterson's got some like deep psychological issues, which, he was addicted to drugs for a while, and I wish him the best there. I hope he's able to kick his benzo addiction and get healthy, of course. But we wish for everybody, but it's just so ironic that the guy telling everyone to clean their room, and that individual solutions are there are no systemic problems. Everybody's just got to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. That guy got addicted to drugs because he couldn't handle the difficulty of life, which, there's nothing wrong with that. And you need help from that. You need to lean on other people for that. But, that's everything that Jordan Peterson's against, or so he claims. He just says, clean your darn room. And then you'll feel better. Which, there's wisdom in that for sure, right? I'm not saying you shouldn't clean your room or you shouldn't focus on self-improvement. That's one of our big things at Midwestern Marx. We push self-improvement. We push being a good person, a respectable person, a person that people trust and, can rely on. But we also push systemic change. We don't say bury your head in the sand and ignore all the systemic issues facing our country and facing society. So you can just keep trying to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Sometimes you got to improve people's conditions to improve society. You have to look at collective solutions, systemic solutions. And you can do that while improving yourself, right? I can get better at wrestling every day by working hard and, make savage the body, as Mao would say, while still civilizing the mind and still reading philosophy and still fighting for a better system, analyzing the systemic problems that we face. Things aren't mutually exclusive, and Peterson tries to make them seem so. He's a big old dummy. He's a big old Kermit the Frog looking ass. That's my critique. Should we get Waka in here? Hit this thing. Boing. I'm going to need to get Orin in at some point. Are those things weak to fire? Do this. Let's just use this. Oh. That was not ideal. Not my best. And that's okay damage. Peterson has no gains, can't be trusted. Exactly. Like what does that guy even put up on bench, do you think? Probably close to nothing. So what does he really know about self-improvement? I'm always skeptical of a right-wing guy talking about self-improvement who can't bench more than 200. It's like you need to improve those gains before I respect you, bro. This is sarcasm, by the way. I know people probably don't assume I'm kidding because I'm a big old meathead wrestler who lifts weights and works out every day. I'm kidding. I understand that's not everybody's thing. Can we just reflect on JP's dream about his Grammy? I don't want to think about it, man. It makes me grossed out. It makes me highly uncomfortable. Uncomfy, so to speak. Wait, what? that? Can I use this? Can I use it here? Okay. What's up here, man? I have no idea what direction I'm going. This is the most twisty-turvy, topsy-turvy map in the game. Oh my damage. I'm gonna get a game over. What is this? Let me attack. Jeez. What the fudge was that? I'm going to read through The Doctrine of Fascism by Mussolini and Marxism and the National Question by Stalin this week before I get into Volume 1. Wow, sounds like you got quite the reading list ahead of you. That will be fun. Marxism and the National Question is a great book. Super important for understanding why we support countries against imperialism, even if they're not socialist countries. Because you need national self-determination. You need to have sovereignty if you're going to struggle for socialism, if you're going to struggle for economic independence and economic well-being. So that's why, and that was super important to the Soviet policy and even China's policy today, I think. But the Soviet policy back in the day of supporting the anti-colonial struggles in Africa and Latin America and elsewhere, even if those countries weren't explicitly socialist, although a lot of them were.
No mercy.
Oh, I gotta nail this. V, X, B, C. Right, C. Got it. Even if those movements weren't socialist, even though a lot of them were socialist, because national self-determination comes first, right? The self-determination comes first. And that's what I explained using a graph created by Domenico Lacerdo in my debate with Vauch, or in one of my back and forths with Vauch. And then he just dabbed on the millions of Koreans who were killed by the U.S. in the Korean War. I explained to him that happened. He goes, dab. Like, wow, you are a very serious political commentator, Vauch. Dab on these millions of people, this country that had 20% of their civilians killed by your government. Just dab on them. You're so cool. You're so cool. I'm sure you would have done much better if you were a communist. If the DPRK was led by Vauch, the Korean War would have never happened, and then they would have real socialism, libertarian socialism. Kill me. I can't with these people. I truly can't. Can't even. Boogie Woogie Dragon, LOL. That these dragons be vibing. They do. These dragons are booling in the cut, as my college athletes would say. They be booling. Power Spear. And I hope we're almost there. We've almost made it. This mountain goes up so high. I get so high. I never come down. Now we gotta bring in Orin. These guys are too strong and they self-destruct, and I hate them. What's this do? Oh, that's cool. Didn't do much damage, so. Just to combat the whole everything I don't like is fascism mentality. Smart. Yeah, it's good to study what it is. You know, it's good to study what the fascists actually said. Somebody was taking Noah's quote out of context this week to try and say it matched up with the Mussolini quote. And it wasn't even close. It was not even close to the same quote. I'm like, is this a joke? Like, are you guys trying to embarrass yourselves? But Yes, very good to actually read it so you can know your enemy. Know what fascism actually is. Know what it's all about, which ultimately it's about class collaborationism, right? It's on, let's ignore class differences so we can talk about, our people is one people, one great nation, blah, 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 blah. And usually that comes with a lot of bigotry and, hyper nationalism. But like, that's Ukraine. That's the Ukrainian nationalists right now. Let's stop focusing on our class differences. Let's stop focusing on capitalism and class struggle and the differences between the rich and the poor and the working people in Ukraine. And let's just embrace Ukrainian nationalism. We're all one people and we're better than Russia. And the Russians are evil and the great Ukrainian race is, the real race. That's why we shouldn't speak Russian. And ignore any class differences. Ignore the people exploiting you. Ignore the fact that the U.S. and Western capitalists have completely privatized your economy and plundered your economy and destroyed your country by pushing you into a proxy war. Ignore all that and just fight for the great Ukrainian nation. Fight for the Ukrainian people. Slava Ukraini. That's hyper nationalism, and that's fascism, right? Class collaborationism. But I had something else to say. I can't remember. I have a graph. Actually, I can pull the graph up right now. I forgot I downloaded it into our StreamYard. I'll pull it up for you. So this is from Domenico Lacerdo. This is really helpful for understanding Marxism and the national question and how the Soviets did their foreign policy. Where is it? Here it is. See that? So this is a graph made by Domenico Lacerdo. And it compares the Western liberal tradition, which is based on right to private property, individual mastery over private property, civil and political rights like freedom of speech and political democracy, not having monarchies, right? And this was instituted largely during the Enlightenment, French Revolution, and revolutions that followed, the American Revolution. And then out of that grows identity politics. There's a hyper focus on identity and identity politics in liberal countries because there's no focus in liberalism on class differences and collective class struggle. It's all about individual mastery over private property and using the state to protect that private property. Now, here is the Hegelian, Marxist, and Chinese tradition. The roots of the tree are sovereignty and anti-colonial sovereignty. So countries who are colonized getting their own political independence. That is the primary thing that China supports. Right. So this is why they support sovereignty and they support countries, even countries that aren't socialist, and why they'll trade with those countries. Because first and foremost, they support the right of a people to determine their own government. And if those people aren't ready for a socialist government, China's not going to intervene and try and mess with their politics. Right. They support sovereignty above all else. What can grow out of that is right to economic well-being, socialism. And then you have, civil, political, cultural, and environmental rights protected in that society. That go beyond the economic rights. Notice how there's nothing protecting economic well-being in liberalism. And notice how liberalism doesn't have anything about supporting sovereignty. So it's actually the opposite. Liberal countries are often engaged in imperialism and overthrowing the sovereignty of foreign nations like the U.S. did to Ukraine in 2014. So yeah, there you go. There you have it. Domenico Lacerdo, one of the goats. Kill this thing. See if this works. It worked. Nice. Dark magic. Oh, you got to tell me if you read any Alan Moore and your thoughts. I'm writing some comics that implement Marxist revolution. I want to teach and entertain with fundamental storytelling. That'd be cool. My roommate's a comedian. I'm always telling him he should do revolutionary comedy. I've never read Alan Moore. I have not read his work, so I wish I could comment on it, but I'm simply unfamiliar. Because I'm an idiot. I don't even deserve to have this YouTube channel. I'm sorry. I'm lying. Come on, kill him. Dang it, Stalin. This is why we need more training. Oh, dang it. Why did I do that? And Waka just hit himself. How do you hit yourself with a ball, Waka? Goof. Now you're dead. So wait till this dude puts his hands down. Get him poisoned. Poison you. Dang, that poison does a lot. You gotta start poisoning more people. Wow. Alright, fully heal up. Thanks for the graph. Speaking of Noah, are you guys still going to do Elden Ring playthrough? Definitely, eventually. I just don't... It's all... I want to play on console, because I have a capture card that I haven't used, but Noah wants to play on PC, and I want to get a hard drive to store all our videos on before I start just loading more games onto my PC, because I want to be careful with storage, and I also want to start backing up our videos for when TikTok inevitably bans us again. So that's what we're waiting on there. I think I've explained that before, but yeah, that'd be really fun to play through with Noah. It'd be really fun to do these like not alone. Like I really, really enjoy these gaming streams because I can just get a small portion of the audience and engage with you guys directly and talk to you directly. But it would also be fun to talk with Noah or Carlos while playing some video games. And then you guys could see like the more relaxed side of Carlos. Like he's always nervous. You know, he always wants everything to be super professional, but he's a fun guy to hang out with when he's relaxed and not trying to be professional. So I'm always trying to get him to loosen up a bit. That's what I'm here for. That's my job at Midwestern Marks. Get Carlos to loosen up and tell Noah to stop interrupting people. Oh, they're my boys. My two bestest friends. Two of my bestest friends for sure. Even though I've never actually met Noah in real life, which is kind of crazy because we talk so much. I'm kind of expecting him to be like a little person or something. Or he's got some kind of thing that he's been hiding from me, or I'm going to be taken aback by his physical presence. He's been lifting weights like crazy, though. Probably getting swole. I want to meet a choreographer for these monsters animations. That person is a genius, LOL. I wonder who it was. We can look it up.
You know?
I know.
You like how they're dancing? We're pilgrims into these vibing dragons right now.
I know.
I still haven't thought of anything.
Me neither.
What are we gonna do?
We'll do something. We just don't know enough yet. Until we do, we really can't help Yuna. Let's go to Zanarkand. We'll find something there. It'll all come together. I know it.
Hey.
Hmm?
Just now, you sounded
Read
like
Watchmen?
You know?
Okay.
Star of the Zanarkand Abes. Didn't anyone tell you?
Aha! Huh?
He's back. Dude, how many times have we killed Seymour?
The son of Jack.
We have beat
Riku,
this man's ass
run ahead and tell
repeatedly.
You
He
are
keeps
not
coming back.
alone.
Just go, go!
Noah, height reveal when, hashtag Team Short Kings. I think Noah's even shorter than me. I'm pretty short. Obviously I'm a wrestler. All wrestlers are short for the most part.
Son of Jack.
Not all of them, but I'm like 5'7". Probably 5'7" and a half if I'm being honest. I know most men exaggerate their height though, and height doesn't matter to me. I've always wanted to be short because that's kind of good for wrestling. So never cared about being tall. So I always say like, I think my driver's license says like 5'6". I always underestimate my height. I go the other way.
Before I leave.
Try to be a humble beast.
Yours was truly a gallant race.
Seymour's definitely compensating for something with his hair.
To bar my path.
Trying to force Yuna to marry him and stuff. He's definitely not packing, if y'all know what I mean.
No.
Where's my wallet? Now I want to see how
Kimari.
tall it says I am.
You could end the suffering of this poor Ronso.
I don't understand you.
Allow Kimari to
Can't
die
find it.
and release him from his pain. Spira is a land of suffering and sorrow caught in a spiral of death. To destroy, to heal Spira, I will become sin. Yes.
I thought you were 6 feet. No way. I wish.
Come with me, Yuna.
Short like Stalin t-shirt. That would be lit. And then
Once
it's like
I
me,
have
Stalin,
become
and
the next
Noah.
sin,
And it's got like our heights
your
next to our
father will
heads.
freed.
Like 5'4", 5'4", 5'7". I like it. Dude, we have so many good shirt ideas that we just have to implement. Like, it sucks because none of us are graphic designers. So, like, it's really hard to... Carlos has made some good shirts, but it takes time and energy, you know. Noah and I have not. Noah probably could, but he doesn't have the technological capacity.
Your meaningless existence with it.
And I don't have the art capacity. All right, bring it on, Seymour. I'm ready to fight you for the 700th freaking time. And he killed me. All right, I'm going to open up the walkthrough quick. Make sure I don't mess this up. See if this boss has any weaknesses that we can exploit. Not like exploiting his labor, but beating him up. Okay. Poison him, Histega. Okay. I think I got it. I should work on my drawing to design these. Yes, or if you know anybody who's good at those, we need people to help us design t-shirts, man. Like, we have the store open. Like, it would be so easy to implement. But obviously, we just need to do it. And we need people with the skills to do it. So, it would be friggin'... We have some good ideas for shirts, though. We need help in terms of, like, non-writing stuff and non-on-camera stuff. We need people who can edit, people who can cut clips, people who can do technical stuff behind the scenes, people who can do graphic design, people who can make thumbnails. Like, that's what we really have a need for. My thumbnail skills have actually gotten a lot better just from doing it so many times. But do I not have haste? Oh, I do. Okay. But, you know, it'd still be nice to have someone doing, like, nice thumbnails. Having a video editor would be sweet, but I've just never been able to find video editors who are that consistent. And a lot of them just want to do their own thing. They don't really want to, like, take instruction or just, like, cut clips like I tell them, or take clips off of Twitch. They're like, why don't we work on a documentary together? That was the last video. The last video editor I worked with was super talented, but he kept just saying, like, I want to do a Thomas Sankara documentary. I'm like, okay, that's a great idea. Fantastic idea, in theory, at least. But I don't think I have time for a written Sankara documentary. No, you know, I love Sankara, but I'm not even an expert on him or anything. And I just want you to cut Twitch clips, you know, like maybe I'll do a live stream about Sankara. And then we can cut it down into highlights, but I'm not, you know, really looking to launch a documentary project right now. So, yeah, I mean, that person was great, too. I appreciate the work that they did do. But are you kidding me? Oh, my, thank God he missed. That would have killed me. Jeez, I got to get Waka in here. He's the only one who can take these shots. Other than Oren. All right, get in here, Waka. Actually, let's summon. Oh, I can talk to him. Hopefully that does something. Magic defense. Woo! Been starting to work on my editing skills. DaVinci Resolve following a YouTube tutorial. Nice. Well, would you want to help out, Christopher? If you have a little extra time, I'd love to give you access to our Twitch so you could cut clips. Obviously, I trust you. You've been a follower of all of our streams and stuff forever. Oh my gosh, I forgot that's how zombie works. Dang it. But yeah, if anyone's down for that, I know it's like not the fun work, which is kind of obviously part of the reason I want to pass it off on someone, but not necessarily because it's not fun, just because it's so time consuming for me and so tedious. And like, I used to not think about it this way, but Carlos made me start thinking about it this way. It's like every second that we can get you working on like filming TikToks, filming streams, like that is what your skill is, what you're talented at, right? And so that means reducing editing time, reducing time spent doing other tedious tasks that other people could do better than me. Which, you know, that sound like at first I was like, nah, that's kind of selfish. I'll do, you know, I'm fine with doing the grunt work. But now from a strategic perspective, I get, you know, the point of that. Like one of my skills is talking and articulating ideas and reaching new people. And, you know, so the more time I can spend doing that, I feel like the better. I forgot this guy can just banish your summons. Let's try this. Whiff of this. He's immune. I'm gonna kill this guy. Good thing he missed. He sucks. Uh-oh. Ouch. And I lost. Game over. Gosh dang it. Poop! That's like our second or third game over in this playthrough. Well, I'll probably end the stream here then because we've gone about a minute 20. I mean, sorry, a minute 20, an hour 20. So I'm probably going to level grind just a bit before we take that guy on again. How's that? A minute ahead? Yeah. Probably level grind just a little bit off camera. And then when we come back, we'll kick that guy's butt. Some of my characters, except Orin, are just a little under level. But I'm also going to stream with Carlos in about an hour or maybe less. So stay tuned for that. Obviously, that'll be a much more professional, much more planned stream where we focus on politics and theory. And we're also going to be analyzing this video of a Jewish guy beating up a Nick Fuentes fan, a white supremacist. And then I'm going to try and challenge all Nick Fuentes fans to a wrestling match / boxing match. So that should be fun. That'll be on the Midwestern Marks YouTube. But make sure you subscribe to the Midwestern Mark or subscribe or follow the Midwestern Marks Twitch to stay up to date with all of our streams, including the gaming streams. Eddie Lagersmith Gaming on YouTube for those who enjoy these. And yeah, Midwestern Marks everywhere else. Thank you all. Solidarity. We'll see you during the tonight stream. Let you guys know if I feel confident enough in my editing skills. Yeah, just let me know, man. Sounds good. Appreciate y'all. Solidarity. Ugh, excuse me. Solidarity.